Hi, and welcome to another episode of the ARC podcast with Jen and Lindsay. How are you today, Jen?
Hey, Lindsay, it's great to be here. I'm so excited about who our guests are today.
I know, it's going to be a good one.
I know, but I was just saying that having a professional hairstylist and someone who cares about beauty on here when I'm in the middle of summer, Vernon. I'm in the middle of summer, just trying to survive this. I've already sweated twice. I did what I could, but I can do better, Vernon. I promise you I'll do better if I ever see this person. So we have Vernon Jackson with us today. Guys, we have true celebrities with us today. So we're real excited because Vernon Jackson and Julie Eubanks are two people who you probably have already heard about. You've probably already seen the video. There's a viral video on TikTok. I think, how many views, guys? Last I saw was 3.5 million, but I'm sure it has more than that. 5 million? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if my TikTok, if my first TikTok didn't get hacked, there'd probably be a whole lot more in that one. But worldwide, it's probably well over 200 million, honestly.
That's incredible.
I know. I might be 1 million of those, or at least 1,000 of those, because my daughter and
I'm at least 50.
We've watched it and I've sent it to everybody I know, I think, at this point. So so if everybody is familiar, so Vernon owns his own barbershop in Cincinnati, and he's just this amazing man who has so much good energy that he has started some really great things that we're going to talk about. But basically the video is him giving a haircut to Julie's son, Ellison. And Julie's son, Ellison, has Down syndrome, hated getting haircuts, like many of our kids do. I'm sure I'm talking to parents that are like, yup, this has been our experience too. And basically it's the best. You feel every emotion during this video. It's just this little clip of him getting his haircut and they're playing this game. And it is just total joy. And then at the end, you just want to tear up. He did it. He made it through the whole thing. And so I kind of want you guys' version of it and how that actually went in real life. So Julie, do you want to start and kind of give your version?
Yeah. So the video that everybody saw was the second time Ellison saw Vernon. And it just kind of went, it was very unexpected for me. I'm still I laugh and I'm in shock still when I see it. Ellison just kind of went with the flow. Vernon went with the flow. They vibed together, and I was prepared for him to have a meltdown. I was recording because I was like, whoa, what's going on? And I think I kind of whispered over my phone to Vernon, this has never happened before. What is that doing? Because he was just oh. And I was like, all right. And I'm just trying to cheer him on, And then it just turned into this hilarious video that I happened to get, that I happened to record. And it shows everyone. I mean, I was talking to my sister-in-law about this the other day. She's like, that video just shows 1% of how funny Ellison really is, because that was just him. He's like, oh, this is cool. Oh, we're going to do this. Let's play this game. Okay, let's do this. He just kind of went with it, and it just ended up being hilarious. And thank you, Vernon, for, allowing him to just kind of mess with you a little bit. But it got him through it though, and we've been going back there ever since. It's been about 1.5 years now. And Ellison's been going back, every month about, give or take. I think he's supposed to be there this Thursday, actually. So he's been going back every month to get his haircut. So yeah, it was a pretty fun experience. We didn't think, when he posted that video that evening, I don't think either of us thought what was going to happen would happen. And I think I was out with my husband for dinner the next night, and Vernon's texting me. He's like, Julie, got 500,000 views. And then it's like, Julie, got 1 million views. And then the next morning he's screenshots oh my, it's got 2 million views. And what's going on? And we're like, whoa, what's going on?
Right.
So it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah, Vernon, from your perspective, was it just like a normal day getting haircuts, or was this like a special day?
You know what? So, like what she is saying, like, it was like, um, I mean, I guess you say it was a regular day. I think he was my last haircut that day. He was my last haircut.
I think you squeezed us in because of some kind of, I think it was a reschedule. We had to reschedule for some reason. So it wasn't even like a gifted day. I think it was just like a normal cutting day for you.
Yep. Because it was on a Wednesday. It was on a Wednesday. And it was a Wednesday. At that time, I was only doing gifted every third Monday. And so where I have my structured time that I do gift it, but when there were parents that they just couldn't fit in, my gifted day, I was just like, forget it. I'll just squeeze you in somewhere in my regular time where it'll work out. And so that was what happened that day. And I was like, all right, just come on through. So when he came in, I was over my day. I was like, man, let me just, what I'm saying, I'll bring forth my best energy possible. And so when they walked in, I'm like, hey, he's like, hello, you did this thing for real. And and he was like, I'm like, man, well, have us, he gets to the chair. And I'm like, man, like, so usually with the kids, I try to come up with a place where I try to like meet them one where they are, and then try to balance out whatever it is that they may need in order to make them feel safe within the chair. You know what I'm saying? And so, and a lot of times that's on the fly. And so with Ellison that day, I was like, man, like, for some reason I said like, well, listen, to put him more into control over the haircut. I said, if you want to stop, you just say stop. When you ready to get back going, just say go. And if for whatever reason, I was like, I asked, Julia, could you record? You know what I'm saying, while this is going on? And before we got started, and next thing you know, this little boy starts turning into a little gang. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm like, listen, first of all, I'm too tired for this right now. Okay. Like,
it's like, okay, this is gonna take forever.
So knowing that, when you watch the video again, you see I'm like, man, come on, man, like, come on, like, that's like, but it was too cute and too dope to not be present with the experience. And I'm like, and that's the thing about being in my profession that people understand, is that my last haircut has to look as good as my first haircut, and my energy has to be consistent no matter what. And so, because even though they may be my 15th haircut of the day, for me, that's their first time seeing me that day.
Yeah.
And so, especially with the kids, I always want to make sure that they get the best part of me, the best version of my energy, to see them in that space, because that's the kind of energy that they need. You know what I'm saying, to really be present with the haircut experience, or forget the haircut experience, an experience that leaves them uncomfortable, that can render them uncomfortable and full of anxiety. So I have to be a consistent, safe space for them. And so, so with Ellison and what I experienced from him up to that point, I just put him into control over the haircut experience. And that way, he wouldn't feel as if he's being rushed through the haircut process. And yeah, we just, whatever time it would take to get this thing done, we was going, I was there for it. And, so, I could have been a 5-minute haircut turned to 10 to 15 minutes, because we had to stop and go 28 times. Yeah. But,
well, it was so beautiful. That's why I think it's just so, such a moment where, like, I think like Lindsay and Julie and I, all of us having kids with disabilities, we are trying to make it, through this event, like, without just surviving it, kind of. And you took that and like elevated that to such a beautiful experience for everybody, that like I'm always like hopeful that we'll get a little bit better experience than just surviving things, but like never to that level that you brought it, because you are a very present and engaging person, because I've seen other videos that you obviously I'm like now following you and I'm a big fan. And so, and you know, Ellison is a charmer, man. So like that video, like it's no wonder it went viral, but you also give haircuts to kiddos with autism who are really like struggling, you know, through it. And you really do meet them where they are. And that takes a really special skill. So like, where did you get that skill? Like, is it just, what is that?
I think it was naturally in me and just developed into a skill. It was naturally in me because, you know, I tell people, even in some of my videos, I say I'm only giving the love that I receive from God. I'm only giving what I like. You know what I'm saying? Like many a times where, you know, as been a child of God, I haven't even, you know, I was avoided, annoying, you know what I'm saying, and ignoring things to do or whatever the case was. But, you know, even avoiding doing the work that I do with the kids now, like, you know, but God always allowed me to move around my life however I wanted to do it, to do my, you know, to use my skills and my talents, trying to carve out my own way, which was being a two-time author or writing poetry and putting on shows, being a dancer, all that things was trying, all my natural talents, and even being a visual artist. I said draw and paint. Like just trying to figure out my life from that perspective and trying to do what I wanted to do. People always were trying to put me into position to work with kids, but I was never emotionally owning and ownership of the experience. I was like, oh, like it more of an inheritance of you should do this, you're naturally good at this, and do this. I know I didn't want to do that. And so but when I accepted the space and the opportunity to do the gifted event, and things lined up in a way that made it hard for me to question if at the time was now, right? It was like, oh, by that time I've accepted it. I'm like, yo, I know who I am in God's eyes. I know my identity. I know who I am as a human being, and um, and I've accepted the examples what that looked like. It was so much easier for me to, oh yeah, like because that's the kind of safe space. The space that I create for the kids is the same safe space that we all want in our relationships. We want in our friendships, whatever ships that we're a part of, we want in. You know what I'm saying? And we all want to be able to share our raw and unfiltered love in a way that is unfiltered and and uncategorized and freely do it. But I feel like we gotta sort it up a little bit. And that was a space that God put together like, yo, here it is. Here it is. The most unlikely thing I would have ever thought I would do. I never thought this is what I would be doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't like cutting. I don't love cutting hair. I don't love cutting hair. I barely like it most times. I love people, but I don't like people. Working with special needs kids are the most challenging category to work with. And hell, even it wasn't until like, you know, talking to Julie probably about a couple months ago, and she's like, Vernon, like you really understand, you don't understand, like you really take on a lot. You do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Doing multiple kids in a day, like because some people may get special needs kid like once or twice a week, right? At that capacity, at that level of stress, right? You know, and I get them every 30 minutes on days that I'm doing it, and a lot of times from an apex amount of fear. So the landed plane, you know, because I can really go on about it. It was really like not like I'm really giving the love in a space that had been created for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's really clear, like you're creative. So like, I feel like a lot of people who are creative can kind of like get into that zone easier because it does. You have to like kind of get into like this connected zone with somebody else. And like these gifted events that you do, like you're saying, like every 30 minutes, for me, that seems like impossible because I have two kids with developmental disabilities. And for me to like, then they're very different. And I'm doing two different things for them. But then to like, but I know them so well. For you to take on like all these kids in one day and to kind of change how you're doing, because every kid's so different. Every kid with autism is different. Every kid with Down syndrome is different. Every kid with, you know, any kind of disability or sensory experience is different. So like how are you like a meditator? Like how do you get yourself after that's done to move on to the next child who's totally different?
You know what? One of the main things I do, I just take my time, and I tell my time what to do and my energy. So even so, before the next parent, kid walks into the space, I say, have a seat outside in the waiting area. I'll be with you in a second. I clean up my space, get it set up, whatnot. I'm not putting myself in a place of rushing. I'm like, and then I invite them in to the space when I'm ready, right? Because if I'm rushing, if I'm going back to back, that creates anxiety within me, which therefore will transition how I'm being anxious with them. And then now they're anxious and I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes. It becomes a chain reaction. So I have to respect, I have to know my boundary, respect my boundary, and that allows my boundary to protect me. And that's really how it goes. It was what I try to talk to, a lot of the parents about as well. Is like, yo, like you gotta set your boundary for you gotta take time out for yourself. You gotta go have fun. You gotta whatever you gotta do to maintain it. Because outside of the work, people know me. I got my plant. When I come home, I got my plants in my house. Got a lot of plants in here. Okay, I got my little dog right here. We be vibing, and I do absolutely nothing, nothing. You know, and on my weekends, I may party one time, get loose, or I just may be in the house all weekend. Whatever my spirit needs, I'm gonna give it to it.
Yeah, I know, Julie. Like when you're with Vernon at getting a haircut, like how do you leave? Because he's so fun to like be with. I would just think like, okay,
I wish I could stay and hang out longer, but Ellison's always like, bye, and he's ready to run out the door. Like I would love to sit and hang out and chat with Vernon as long as we can. But yeah, Ellison, he's and that barbershop's on a busy street, and so Ellison always wants to run out the door when he's done. But yeah, it is hard to get out of there though, because it's a cool place, and it's a calming space too. Like he's done a really good job with it.
Yeah, and I just love how you
love it,
Julie. You're like obviously you're such a good mom. Like you're so.
Oh, thanks.
You're doing a really good job. Obviously, like just so very obvious in the way you talk about your son, but like giving him that autonomy and allowing him to like stop and go and like being more in control with his haircut is like to me. I don't think it is really hard. Like I'm the same with.
And it makes me feel bad. Like, and there's been times we've gone since that video where Ellison has not behaved very well, and Vernon's had to sit him down and had a chat with him.
Yeah.
and say, he's like, listen, man, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen that video.
Well, that's what's cool.
You know what, Julie, I've been meaning to share that videos like of when he wasn't like calm and happy and doing it. Because I did one time, but I need to tell people the other side as well. It's like no, it's not. That's my whole thing about doing the content. Is like I want to show people like the reality of like and all the kids in their own way act the same. And so to humanize the parents and the kids' experiences, and and to create space for people to have more grace towards parents if they see a child having a meltdown in public. You know what I mean? They consider that maybe something else at play. And Julie's listen, like Julie is a rock star. You know what I'm saying? Julie is humble. I'm gonna be the unhumble person for Julie, okay?
Thank you.
Julie, she's a great mother. Both her kids, all right, they're freaking adorable, okay? And and as loving as Julie is and nice, she don't take no stuff.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? She doesn't allow she actually allows Ellison to have his autonomy and to work things out. She's also no, we're here. And if we gotta hold you down, we're gonna hold you down and get this thing done. Yeah. And for a lot of parents, especially mothers, it's a hard thing for for them to do without feeling so as if they are being malicious or of malicious intent with their child.
Like being mean or forcing them to do something they don't want to do, and it's hard to see the feedback sometimes, and I knew there would be feedback on that specific incident too, when Ellison was in your shop, and some people are like, don't force him to get the haircut. It's like, well, you don't understand. Like sometimes, I mean, if you let him just call the shots all the time, he would look, I mean, it's hygiene, it's like if I say, oh, if he says, I don't want to take a bath, like, okay, well, no, that's not how we roll, you got to take a bath. Like and the behavior is communication, as we all know. I mean, behavior it's not him trying to be mean. It's not him trying to be malicious. It's not him trying to, do anything, but he's trying to communicate something. I don't want to be here. Okay, I get that, but we're here.
Yep.
And we're going to do this, and we're going to get through it, and we're going to do it together, and we're going to be fine. And at the end of the day, at the end of the cut, we were fine because everybody was consistent. My husband was there. I was there. Vernon was there. We were all there for him. We figured it out. We got through it. And that's what I like about what Vernon's doing, is because even if it's a cute video, like what, the first video that went viral with Ellison, that was, he worked with him in that way. But when it's a difficult situation too, he worked with him in that way. And he created the space for that. He created the space and the time to work with kids so that they can still get their hair cut. They're learning how to behave in a space like that. They still need that extra time and they need the extra support. Not a lot of places offer that. And it's such a need in everywhere. And it's not really, it's something that I think, obviously a lot of, barbers and hairstylists are not trained to deal with. I mean, pretty much the world is not designed for people like our kids, like, and these courses that in cosmetology school are not designed to take care of people like our kids. They're not going to sit still. They're not going to be your typical client. And I'm so grateful that he's taken the opportunity that, this video took off, and and what Vernon's done and grown with this program has been absolutely amazing. And he's helped so many families since then. And I think that people have seen it, and people are starting to catch on and starting to partner with him or try to do their own programs and just like see that there's a need, like I think that, just filling that void. I think it's been really important. I kind of went off on a tangent there a little bit, but I wanted to make sure
it all mattered. It all mattered, Julie.
Perfect.
It all mattered.
It's perfect because you're right, Julie. Like,
it's so that's what I love about this whole thing. And that's what I try to drive. And like, anytime I talk about it, because it's so important to me. Because I think sometimes Ellison and all of our kids are misunderstood when they behave a certain way. And they are like sometimes, turned away at salons or other places because of that kind of behavior, because people take it the wrong way and think that they're, misbehaving or they're bad kids or whatever. And they're not. Like, they just need some extra support.
Yes,
so.
Exactly. And that's what they're getting from Vernon. And it's not just awareness that you're creating, but it's like a movement, because really, Cincinnati is like, I'm so proud to live here. I mean, there's just so many great inclusive spots, and we just keep making more and more. And it's because of things like this viral video and Vernon's gifted events that you are doing. It pushes the envelope for like more and more businesses to accept our kids, to be patient, to, like make things like universally designed for our families. Because like when you change something and make it like a little bit more inclusive and accepting, then like, guess what? You're going to get other people coming and saying like, wow, I felt like this is like a really safe space for me. Like if it's a safe space for these kids who are really struggling, it's probably a safe space for me, because I have, I struggle with X, Y, or Z, and so Vernon, tell us before we end, the name. I know it's Noble Barber and Beauty is your barbershop in Cincinnati. And then just tell us a little bit about the gifted event and where people can like learn more about it and donate to it.
Okay. So the gifted event is a program that's designed to create, to turn the barbershop and salon into a space that was once the most feared anxious building into the one of the most fun and most and a place that kids don't want to leave, where to usher them from the challenge of a haircut to being more acclimated to the haircut space and experience, so that they become, they can eventually either go to another barbershop or salon if they need to, or to be introduced into my regular schedule and booking schedule, without being afraid of the haircuts any further. And the fundraising part of it comes in play because it allows the public to be a part of the stories as well. Where, for it would have been an experience that parents at one point in time where they would pay any amount of money, drive any distance to have their child to be seen, to be loved, in a certain way, they're able to receive that service for free. And like to tell them that it was sponsored by people who are viewers, you know what I'm saying, that get it. Which is, I started applying for grants, whatever case is, just to do it, but I really don't. I really enjoy, getting the donations from the people, and because people giving their money for anything is hard. Let alone watching a dang on video online and then clicking the link and then putting their money, their credit cards in X, Y, and Z to support. You know what I'm saying? Like the money that was raised last year was from like 2,500 people.
Great.
All the millions of people who watched the videos. You know what I'm saying? Like 25 to 3,500 people, you know what I'm saying, put money together to sponsor all those haircuts. You know what I'm saying? And even I went to London to do it. So it's so cool to witness that. That's the real magic that comes out of it. And so, and they can, and to continue that, people can donate at thegiftedevent.com. That's the way to, whether they want to book an appointment or they want to make a contribution or get a t-shirt to sort of support. It's all at thegiftedevent.com.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to let you go because I'm sure you have like another huge interview with like Good Morning America or the Jennifer Aniston show or all these.
They're done with me. They're done. They got what they needed.
No, I know you guys are still popular out there. I see you like on Q&A, hearing like Q&A2 and all these things here locally maybe, but I just know you're doing such great things and you deserve all the celebrity that you got from it, Vernon, and you too, Julie, because it makes a huge difference to like parents like me who my son had a real hard time getting haircuts for a while, but my husband knows how to cut hair. He's been cutting his own hair for a while. So that helped us tremendously. And the consistency and like, it's just nice being able to, for boys have to get their hair cut just a ton. So it's just nice to know that you have a safe place to do that. And so thank you both for your story. And we're just excited that we got to chat with you guys today. And
thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
It was nice talking to you both. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.